1 Kings 9, here God warns Solomon. Solomon apparently was serving God, but it was mere religion. At the end of his life, we're told, his wives turned away his heart from Yahweh and he worshipped the idols of the nations around him. And he writes the book of Ecclesiastes, and resignation really from God. Well, God warns him. And we need to learn from where Solomon went wrong. His assumption was God made promises to David about David's son and his house, etc. And I'm David's son, and I've built the temple for God. He had no sense at all of his own frailty, of his own sinfulness, and no sense at all of the conditionality of God's promises to David, which said that if your son walks in my ways, then this will happen. And God appeals to Solomon here and reminds him. And he says, if you, Solomon, will walk before me, as David your father walked, in integrity of heart, and if you will do all that I command you, if you will keep my statutes, then I will establish the throne of your kingdom over Israel forever. But if you turn away from following me, etc. Well, Solomon did turn away. Exactly. But why? I think it was because at this point in his earlier life, he had no sense at all that he could fail. I know that partly goes with youth, but he was not a particularly young man when he started reigning. But the point is, we need on one hand to have this absolute faith and hope in God's kingdom, in salvation, and yet on the other hand, there has got to always be this sense that I might mess up. He that endures to the end shall be saved, as the Lord said. We need to have that sense of the future I might miss. As the Lord said to those at the first breaking of bread, one of you shall betray me. And they all said, Lord, is it I? And you have to ask that question, Lord, is it I? Don't assume and presume that I shall hold on to the end. You can be absolutely confident, and we must be confident, that if the Lord comes now, by his great grace, yes, 100%, by his grace I will be in his kingdom. As you look at your possible future, you cannot assume that you shall remain in the way. There needs to be that appropriate humility and recognition of our own frailty, and that's why we have all these examples in the Bible to remind us of that.